product first? We have some. So we have an ex-Amazon in the room. Is Amazon product first?
Kindle.
Okay. Tell me. Think harder. Is there anything that comes to your mind, any brand that is not product first? It's really hard, right? You know why? Because you use services, but you remember products. Yes, you use services, like you're gonna call some company to build your website, but you remember Amazon for hosting it. That's the brand that's gonna stick to your head. You're gonna remember Amazon forever. You won't remember build your website for 5 cents, Chirila. Okay? And that's because products are in our lives every single day. And that is the difference. Same as Amazon. Maybe not every single day, but every other day then. So, what are some traits of a product-first company? So first of all, it starts from the top. I don't know how big your company is or how small your company is, and it actually doesn't matter. Maybe if it's too big, some of that leadership style dilutes itself before it gets down to wherever you are in the chart. But you need product-minded leaders. If your leader has worked all his life in, delivering stuff for others, he's done outsourcing and stuff like that, and he just can't break away from it, then you can't really turn your company into a product-first organization because his mindset will not be in terms of thinking product and acting product and making decisions from a product perspective. One of the biggest things you do when working on products is say no, as opposed to service providers, which tend to say yes to everything. Can we have this? Yes. Can we have that? Yes. Do you also do this? Yes. Can we have a small change in the contract? Yes. Just sign the damn thing. See, that's services. Products are like, this is not in line with our mission. This is not our focus. You're not in our target market. It's different. You're not being an ass. You're simply not letting them divert you from whatever path, mission, values you have as a product-first company. And then you need to align that mission with everyone else. So you might be a great leader. You want to change the world. We had some great pitches earlier here in the morning of people who want to make a change. Now, they may be influencers, startup people, product-first people, but if they find colleagues, if they hire people who are not that, then you're going to put in way more effort to change the way those people work and act and think, as opposed to putting that effort in your product. And so maybe some of you are business owners, some of you work for a business owner, but ultimately, this needs to match. So hire slow, fire fast. That applies to any business owner that wants to make it. So you keep interviewing, you keep searching for the right people, and when the split second you realize the person is not aligned with your mission, better be nice about it and tell them, look, I don't think you're a fit, and I think you'd be much happier somewhere else, and that's it. And find someone else. And you're going to find someone else who's going to have the energy, the passion, the will, the drive, and it's going to feel natural for them to have all these. They won't have to be induced. They won't have to be trained and coached and any of that. And then it boils down to what engages people in a company. When you're in a product company, I mean, this says conversions engage them. It may be some other metric, but the engagement of employees in a product-first company is about the product. Now, your tech team might be really psyched about them using this last piece of technology, but inside their heads, it should be something like, we're using it because it helps the product, because there's a business impact, because this or because that, not just because of our ego, that we want to use the latest, brightest thing so that we can go to beers with our friends and be like, yeah, man, but in our office we use this thing, and it's the latest thing, and it's cool, and your technology stack sucks. That's like measuring something. So these are 3 key components, I think, that make for a product-first company. And ultimately, whatever product your company sells, the company will be the best product if you want to build products. So for the rest of this presentation, we're going to try to look at a company the way we look at a product. Maybe a bit technically, but you'll see. So remember this, whatever it is you're building, your product will change, your customers will change. If your product will be on the market long enough, Coca-Cola, Apple, whoever, the products will change. And the company will change too. But it still needs to be, the company needs to be your best product. So, what do you do first when you have an idea or an MVP? You basically have to iterate, right? That's startups one-on-one lesson number 1. You have an idea, you go to someone, you ask them, would you use this? They say no. Why? Well, I don't like it like this, I don't like it like that, I think we should change this, we should change that. You ask a few more people, you go back home, you draw something else, you come back. Would you use it now? And they're like, maybe. You're like, good. That's definitely, that's what I was looking for. But still, would you buy it? No. Okay, we have a problem now. Going back home, coming back with a new sheet of paper. Now, switching over to companies. Let's say you have a performance review. Who here has a performance review in their company? Nobody has a performance review. Okay, some people have a performance review. How did you come across that performance review? Were you asked about it? Did you contribute to it? Was it some kind of agile process? Or you were like, this is our 25-page performance review asking you to evaluate yourself in all these key components of the business and in your customer communication skills and in your technical skills and your blah, 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 blah. Maybe that's not how it works in your company. But normally and ideally, and I was at a conference where somebody called this Agile HR. Have you heard about Agile HR before? I hadn't. So Agile HR says that as an HR person, you think about doing something like a performance review, and you draft just the chapters first, and you go and you ask the people, does this make sense to you? And then you come back, and they say, no, man, but look, see, you're not evaluating the fact that I go to conferences like this here. Okay, I'm not putting that, I have to put that into. And then you come back and you say, okay, look, these are the topics now, but see, I also have the questions for the first one. What do you think about the questions? And they're like, okay, this is good, and so on. You get the idea, right? And I've just given you one example, which has to do with Agile HR. Now, is your company usable? Ask yourselves this. Would you use an iPhone if it weren't usable? Would you use a Samsung if it didn't work? You wouldn't. So then you as employees or you as business owners will not properly use your company, or if you want to put it in a different way, be used by your company, or let yourself be used by your company if it's not usable. So the first step towards being a product-first organization is you as employees maybe, or you as middle management or top management or wherever you are, is to try and implement this, is to try and break yourselves away from that urge of being like, I will draft the entire thing and then I will show it to them. And take a step back and be like, what's the minimum I have to do for whatever it is I'm doing before I can show it to someone? And then you're going to show it to a colleague. And yes, expect criticism, expect negative feedback. Don't take it too bad, because ultimately, if you you draft the entire thing and then you stick it under their faces, and then they're gonna hate it anyway. So you might as well not spend the time creating something everybody hates and take a step back and be like, okay, man, let's work on this together. In some cases, it may not work. In some cases, you might fail with this. But unless you try, you're like a startup that thinks they know best. Startups, some founders think they know best. They're going to build this. They're going to take it to market. People will love it. Case, point, end. And those fail miserably, quickly. That's the advantage. They fail quickly. So if it's a product, it needs to have features, right? Your iPhone has an agenda, and it has, a camera, and it has the battery and stuff like that. So it has some kind of features built in, components and stuff like that. Your company has them too. Now, components, that's your hierarchy. We're not going into that. Whatever it is, it's fine internally, whatever departments you have. But features. So one of the features your company has is time. And I'm talking about your time as employees, as managers, and how you use that time. Another feature your company has is attention. Time does not equal attention. You have time in a day, time in a week, time in a year. Your attention differs very much. You get a lot of noise, then you put your headset on to get some attention to whatever it is you're trying to do. That works sometimes. Then a colleague comes and says, look, sorry for interrupting, and that killed it. So attention is not the same thing. Now, last but not least, it's information. It's a feature of your company. If it's project information, colleague information, company information, whatever it is, it's inside your company. It's some kind of data, if you want to put it like that, that resides inside the company. So what I think is important is that you first we look at time. So you got 40 hours a week, ideally. Who here works exactly 40 hours a week? Okay, there are no hands raised, don't look back, it's fine. Nobody raised their hands. Who here works more than 40 hours a week? Yeah, be brave, I do it too, it's fine. So, you work more than 40 hours a week, right? Sometimes because you enjoy it, sometimes because you have to. But, ideally, you should be able to manage your work. The company should let you manage your work in such a way that you don't end up burning out. Because this is the path you're going to take. Even if you're a freelancer, and I've done that too. You're going to be like, now I'm busy, this feels good, I got stuff to do, you know, things are happening, I'm moving things in this company, we're going to go somewhere. 2 days later, man, this is a lot of work. 2 weeks later, shit, man, I can't do it anymore. 4 weeks later, fuck everything, I'm out. Then you need 2 months of break. Now, if you ask me, and I've done it, it's fun only if you want to do it as an experiment. If you want, do it. But you can't do it long term, long run. And companies are marathons, not sprinters, most of them. So you gotta run for the whole 40-something kilometers or whatever it is. You can't just be like, 100 meters, man. That's all I have to do. But I gotta do it in a split second. So don't let yourselves get burned out, and the company needs to help you achieve this. And how do they achieve this is by making sure so it's not about overworking everybody. Every company will try to get more and more and more and more, you know? It's about you looking at the company and being like, man, these guys don't know shit about where they want to go and what they want to do. So I'm going to keep overworking for what? What's the mission? You know, go back to mission. What am I overworking for? If I don't identify myself with their mission, and if it looks like they're doing a crappy job at you know, achieving whatever goals they have, then you are literally wasting time, wherever you are right now. I believe nobody has this in their company. At least you don't have access to payroll, right? You can't see how much everyone else makes. You don't get to see the contracts. You don't know the hourly rates. You don't know what discounts somebody's getting, what benefits some manager has, how much, you know, his office costs to renovate and stuff like that. Truth be told, if you had access to everything, you'd probably be overwhelmed. You would be like, whoa, what's happening? I have to read this, I have to look at that. Is this even important for me? Now I know how much everybody makes, fine, okay, but look, there's also this stuff here. They're building some landing pages there. What's this? You know, new features in a product. You won't get anything done. So don't worry too much if you don't know everything. However, if we take a step back and think about the culture of your company, you should at least feel that you can know as much as you want to know. So if your company is saying, this is the fence, you don't get to look over the fence. Not even hear what's behind the fence, nothing like that. You're here in this play yard, you know, run around. You should be able to go and ask someone, why are we doing this? What's that? Can I have a look here? You know, that will not just satisfy your curiosity for the moment. It will actually make you feel that this is an open company, an organization. I can ask stuff, I can find out stuff. Now, the more stuff you find out, you're going to find yourself in a position where you can literally start thinking and taking action for yourself. Now, let's say in your company, you knew everything that had to do with, I don't know, customer acquisition, right? You know everything, how much it costs, who are the next customers, this and that. And now you come to this conference here. Here a guy talking on stage, we're trying to build a product, the product needs to use these kinds of features, we're gonna use AI and this and that. Now you know from your company that you guys do AI. You know how much it costs, you know you've got a team, you know all these things. What's stopping you from taking action? What's pushing you back saying, okay, I'm gonna approach this guy on stage and I'm gonna tell him, look man, we do this at our company, I'm confident, I know this stuff, I can do it too. Why not? It brings a cool project in the company. It makes me a bit of a hero in front of anyone else. I went to a conference in the weekend and I brought in a client. My manager is gonna be super happy. He's gonna push me out as an example and say, look at how awesome this colleague of yours is. He did this by himself. He showed initiative. He made a change. He did, How many of you feel confident enough to approach me after this talk and tell me, look, we do this at our company. I know the information. I can explain it. We do this and that. I think we can help you with that and so on. In a product-first company, you don't get to just sit down and look at the talk and this and that. You are the brand ambassadors of your company, of your product. You are the ones who are going to go out and say, look man, this is nice. What do you do? What do you do? I'm going to tell you, look, I run a company. And your company, what does it do? It does this. And do you need this kind of service? Because our product does it. Or do you need this kind of product? Because we do it. Because I, myself, I am part of the product. I am part of that company. That company's product first. I have the mindset. I will take action. I won't wait for my sales team to contact this guy via email and then explain it to him and so on and so forth. I will hook him up with my sales team, but I've taken action. So if any of you are thinking this kind of product first company thing sounds good, then it comes with strings attached. It comes with you identifying yourself with the product, and which is in fact the company in this case, and doing something about it. And, wait. No? Please? Pretty please? No? I can always do this. You won't like it. Wait. See, I can do this. I told you that you can have access to everything, or that you should at least have the opinion or the feeling that you can have access to as much as you want. But there's a bit of a problem. You have access to information, right? You know everything in the company. But on a daily basis, you communicate. You communicate with me as a potential customer. You communicate with your colleagues internally on whatever it is you're doing. Now, truth be told, 40% of inefficiency is caused by bad writing. So I think nobody here communicates exclusively verbally, like you only have customer calls and you only have internal meetings and so on. No, you end up writing. You use a chat, you use Slack, or I don't know, whatever, Skype, whatever you're using. But the truth is that most of us have a problem clearly explaining what we want, what we need, what we're asking for in writing. Not because, I'm not calling anyone an illiterate, okay? I'm just saying that it's one thing to know how to grammatically correctly write a sentence, and it's another thing to take some time and put in the details and think about how will the other person perceive, understand what I'm writing. Because it's different. Case in point, sales department versus engineering, right? Engineers need everything, in 1 or 0 format. The sales department is like, we need a website. Does what? Three pages. Home, contact, features. What's the content of those pages? And you see, this is where we're communicating, and it's inefficient. You keep asking me to stop from whatever it is I'm doing and ask a follow-up question and a follow-up question and a follow-up question until you got me mad now. Now, why the hell can't you do? See, this is not productive. This is not how people are supposed to interact. It's supposed to be a process where we all give exactly what we expect to get. If I come to sales as an engineer and say, give me some projects on Node.js, and I leave, What does the sales team do? Well, hold on, man. What experience do we have with this thing? What projects have we done? Who's running this show? Who do I come with for estimates? Help me do a pitch deck. What's happening? You know? So think about it this way. You need to learn how to not write properly. I hope you know how to write properly. You need to know how to communicate properly. You need to ask your colleagues at some point. You need to look at your own discussions. If you're talking to a designer and the discussion is 57 screens long, you did a shitty job writing the brief. I can tell you that right now. It shouldn't be 57 pages long. It should be like, this is my content, I kind of want it laid out like that. Instead of giving it to my designer in a Word document, how about I use the slides thing on Google and kind of like already show him how I want it to be on the page. You know, just give him a big paragraph and be like, split it however you want, man. I don't care. He'll be like, then I'll put it all on one slide, I guess. You know? So you need to learn how to do this better. To me, otherwise, you'll just keep hitting roadblock after roadblock and get frustrated. Now, this picture, I mean, everybody who here has heard about Agile? I do hope you've heard about the word Agile at least. And you all know what it is, and you use it in your companies in one way or another. I'm sure you do. But please look at the differences and think about our example with the performance review document from HR before. And I'll take some time to explain. This is version 1. Management says we're going to do a performance review. We're going to do a performance review, and so on. HR writes a performance review. We send it to everyone. Phase 2. Management says, let's do a performance review. HR kind of like gives management a preview. And they go through a few rounds of changes. But in the end, they have the entire performance review, and then they send it to everyone. Case 3. Management says we need a performance review. HR goes out and builds what I told you, the draft of it, you know, just the chapters, and shows it to the employees. And then comes back to management and says, look, man, these guys don't think this is what they do every day. Management is obviously like, what? And HR says, that's what they said. And okay, let's change it. They said we should change it like this. And then you go to the process I explained earlier. Now, I'm really trying to say that you should use the third option as much as you can. At best case scenario, you're probably caught somewhere in the middle, and you're trying to make that work somehow, and it's not going to work until you really find out what's the minimum viable product for whatever it is you're doing in your company, and try to do that first and show it to the customers, and then see what they say about it. Or the prototype, if you want to put it like that. So go back to the basics. I'm doing good on time. Now, I told you we're going to do like a bit of a parallel on company, product. Products have bugs, right? Your iPhone maybe, iPhones are perfect now. Your Samsung maybe died every now and then. But, okay, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm an Apple fanboy, but whatever. That was just a cruel joke on my behalf, sorry. But whatever phone you have, whatever PC you have, you know, something happened at some point. That was a bug. Something, it crashed, it died, something happened. Now, you do know there's bugs in your company, right? No. Can anybody give me an example of a bug in your company? Without telling me the name of your company, of course. Do you have any kind of bug in your company? Something that's not working as expected or has failed recently in a way or another? Bug-free companies everywhere, I see. Okay, I will tell you a bug in our company. I'm going to kick off this game. We have a problem giving people feedback, especially interns, in their first 3 months, you know, their first 3 months of trial after the internship. We haven't done it consistently. It's a problem. We've decided we need to fix it. Okay? So now you know. If you come to our next internship, and you might render blah, blah. Okay, don't start panicking all throughout the room. We said we're going to fix it, okay? So do you have any bug in your company? Let me ask again. Yes, okay, some heads nodding, but nobody, I see smiles everywhere, but nobody's saying anything. Okay, this was an example. Maybe in your company you don't give enough feedback. Maybe feedback loops are too rare apart. Maybe your HR department's doing a sucky job and you all hate coming to work. Maybe your manager is a bad boss. You have bugs in your company. Now the question here would be, how do you solve a bug in a company? How do you normally solve a bug in software development? You have some kind of software for bug reporting, right? You go in that software, you add a bug report, you're like, this is how it happened. These are the steps to reproduce. Somebody should fix it. The first step is that you actually report the issue, right? So you, maybe as employees, should report issues back to whoever is in charge, whoever is that piece of software. Maybe it's a big company and you can't go straight to management, but you can then go to HR. You can be like, hey man, look, I got this problem in this company. Now I don't even want to think that everybody is maybe afraid of doing this, because that's just a stupid company you're working in. Whoever thinks their product is perfect is an absolute idiot. Same goes for companies. If you think your company is perfect, you're an idiot. Case in point, people leave Facebook, people leave Google. Are you even comparing to those companies? So if those are not perfect companies, if those companies don't have 100% retention, then I don't know, who made you king? Okay, so first things first, please report the issue. As a business owner, as a manager, I would like people to tell me more than what they're telling me. I've got colleagues here in the room, they're looking at me like, are you sure? I'm sure. So yes, tell us more. Tell me more, I want to know more. You don't trust to tell me more because, I don't know, I'm creepy, I'm scary. Talk to our HR. Tell her more. Fill her head with stuff you don't like. Then she will definitely fill my head with everything you didn't like, plus some stuff she had piled up. So please report the bugs. If bugs don't get resolved for a long time, people stop buying the product. See where I'm going with this? You're going to quit your jobs, or new colleagues won't be coming in, or people will start finding out, because it's a bad product, and you need to fix it somehow. And as I said, if your organization will not let you fail, then it failed. I made a typo in this sentence when I sent it to my designer the other day to do the presentation. I initially had it here, if your organization will not let you fail, then they failed instead of it. And then I was thinking, company, that's not a person, then I have to use it because that's how grammar works and shit like that. But the truth of the matter is that I should have had they instead of it. Because your company is not an it. It's not impersonal. It's not, abstract. Your company is they. They is your CEO, your HR manager, your department head, your whatever team lead and stuff like that. There's a bunch of theys who will not let you fail. You should fail. Some of the best lessons you learn are from failure. Startups learn from failure. 9 out of 10 startups fail. Do you know what startups and the US SEAL program have in common? Is that 9 out of 10 SEALs fail to finish the program, and 9 out of 10 startups fail miserably. So failure is a part of everything. Companies try to shelter themselves as much as they can from failure, but you as members of the company will only learn from failure. Now, I'm not saying go back to your company, you find those nice servers in a corner, and you cut the power cord. And you're like, yes, ma'am, I have learned that servers need power to run. Please, that's not the type of failure I mean. I mean, you get a task, you're asked to do something, maybe you don't get enough details, and you somehow mess up. What's your feeling in the meeting when people say this is wrong, this is poorly implemented, the client complained? Are you feeling secure, sure that your company has your back, or are you feeling like they're pointing fingers, being like, that was you, man, you fucked up? Because if that's what happens, you won't do any of the other stuff. You won't align yourself to the mission, because the mission may mean you're going to have to, create a ripple in the ocean. You won't report bugs because you'll be like, what if... So complicated. So if you're, I think the more politically correct term is fault tolerant. So a fault tolerant company. If you need to have that, you need to be able to express yourselves and ask questions and mess up, and they will still love you for it. Whoever has kids at home knows what I mean. I mean, what? So he grew up, and there was my phone on the table, and he reached out, and he was like, what's that shiny thing there? And he dragged it off the table and, you know, threw it down. Now, it's not his fault. It was a shiny thing on a table. What? You do the same. You want to see what the shiny thing is. The only difference is that he didn't know how to hold it right, or he didn't know how valuable it was, or stuff like that. Maybe he didn't have access to information. That's all I'm saying. Treat your employees, treat your colleagues as if they didn't do it on purpose. If they do it on purpose, fire their ass. That means they're assholes. If they do it on purpose. If you sabotage the company on purpose, if you say, okay, this is the product I don't like, I'm gonna fuck up in the code. No, that was wrong. So I'm not saying let everything slide, just iPhones. Okay, I have roughly 15 minutes left for questions. I hope you do have questions because that was the presentation. I didn't want to make it too long. I'm really hoping you're going to ask me stuff about things that we either do in our organization or things that you want to do in yours where this talk applies. So I'd really like to hear it from you guys, and I think we have another mic here, and Emilia can pass it around the room, okay? So, any questions? One there.
You did not start saying us, what do you do?
Yeah, sorry. I maybe skipped that too quickly. I'm a CEO of a company. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company. So I'm in a management position. I'm trying to kind of lead the change in a way in our company.
What your company does.
Okay, now that's almost paid advertising, but still, I didn't say that on purpose. I didn't want to make this presentation like too much about us, although it is a bit about us. Our company is this behind me over here. We do outsourcing, and we are struggling like hell to move into product development. And if we are going to do outsourcing, that we work with other startups or people who innovate in a way or another. That we do some kind of meaningful work. That's the sort of our mission. That's what we're doing, trying to get to, struggling to stay there, all these things. The secret's out now. Any other questions? One there.
What's your strategy to move to product work from outsourcing?
Well, okay. I'm not confident enough to move to product work without doing some product work first. So in our case, moving to product work involved building our own products first, failing nicely on our own products, learning from our own mistakes on our own time and dime, and then going to others and teaching them, or trying to teach them, or at least showing them that we have some experience in the field. So we did our own startups. Some banners are outside. I won't go through it now. But we have our own products. We are now pretty actively involved with startups in Europe and in other parts of the world. And it's kind of catching on. But it was a process that took about maybe 2.5, 3 years to first do our own thing, fail, start working with some people, learn some stuff. Now we have a different speech when we talk about what we do, how we can help, what experience do we have, that we've been through accelerators, we've raised investment, we've built products from scratch, we've done market testing and so on and so forth. It makes way more sense now. In the beginning, it was more like, man, I think you got a cool project, I'd like to be part of it, it was kind of like that. But now it's different. It's way more well articulated somehow. Any other question? No? Okay, and I guess then that's it. You got a short talk out of this one, so more time. Just saying, there's no line at the bathroom if it's not in the break, so You get some time there now. Okay, thanks very much, and I hope you make something out of this.